So all of the discourse around Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey adaptation seems to come down, in my opinion, to a misunderstanding about cinema. And I don't mean anything pretentious by using that word. It literally just means moving picture, okay? So I'm not here to argue about what is cinema or what isn't. If the picture moves, it's cinema, okay? But I have spent most of my life studying the arts and sciences behind cinema. And I ran into this wall a long time ago, and that is that the limitations of cinema are misperceived as depth. Now, in my lifetime, or at least to me, this is most famously represented by the films of Stanley Kubrick. Eyes Wide Shut, I think, is the big one. For nearly my whole adult life, cinema enthusiasts have been debating about the meaning behind that film. Is it a sort of soft disclosure of the secrets of Hollywood? Is it about a real-life cult that he crossed paths with? Eyes Wide Shut was adapted from a novella written in 1926. And Kubrick adapted it, pretty much like one-to-one. He didn't really invent any meaningful details. He changed the time and the place. But the really big difference between the book and the film is that in the film, you can't hear the internal thoughts of the characters or the background that's given by the narrator. This is, in my opinion, nothing more than a result of the limitations of cinema. Because, yeah, of course you could record a voiceover, but this is widely considered goofy in movies. Every time it's done, people don't like it. It feels awkward. So Kubrick's solution, he leaves all of this out of the film, okay? While largely leaving everything else the same. And what this does is it creates a false notion that the meaning of the film is hidden and that it's a secret. And that if you want to understand the meaning of the story, well, you just have to be real big smart. But the reality is, and people hate to hear this, okay? The reality is the meaning is just not there. The secret is just not there. But the limitations of cinema and the unwillingness of cinema enthusiasts to admit that there are limitations, this leads to a pretense of, well, you're just not smart enough to get it. Same thing applies to 2001. Same thing applies to The Shining. When you read these books, you come out of them knowing what happened. When you watch the movies, you come out of them pretending that you do. And this can absolutely be applied to Nolan's Odyssey adaptation. And I keep seeing all these big fans of the movie keep telling me that I'm not getting his genius vision. I'm just not smart enough to get it. That the meaning is hidden, and I'm just not smart enough to see it. But most of this secret meaning is hidden in details that Nolan is removing from the story that are necessary to understand what the story means and what it is saying. It's not there. And what you're left with are his confusing decisions, which require external, retroactive, speculative explanations for decisions that really are just tasteless and stupid. What exactly was Nolan's genius vision behind wrongly identifying Zeus's law as Christ's golden rule in multiple on-camera interviews? He clearly didn't understand this. This wasn't an artistic vision. He clearly didn't get it. What was his genius vision in carrying this misunderstanding into the film itself, where he even further misunderstands the Christian concept that he's mistaking for Zeus's law? What was his genius vision behind choosing a 1,200-year-old Viking longboat design to represent a 3,200-year-old Greek galley design? What exactly was the genius vision behind having the Greek characters fail to recognize spoken Greek language during the only scene when Greek is spoken in the entire film? The answers to these questions are all retrospective and speculative, which is a really annoying necessity in modern art, and especially in film, which is just generally a modern thing. It's not very old, so it automatically falls into sort of a modern art category. But, at the end of the day, this is my take on this film. I've had a lot of things to say about it outside of this video. At the end of the day, anyone can make up some seemingly profound explanation, some deep perceived meaning behind why you threw a tomato at the wall. But in the end, all you did is throw a tomato.